Hi, my name is Sophia Saldana, and today I'm doing my presentation as Sophisticated Sophie. I chose this adjective because sophisticated can mean layered, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean worldly and chic, even though I like thinking myself as that. I'm more layered than that. I wanted to start off with some fun facts about me. First off, I am 22 years old, but I've only had 5 real birthdays. I was born on Leap Day 2000, and I was actually born at 4:44 a.m., which is definitely an interesting birth date. I don't know what it means. If you can tell me, tell me. I also have a female Syrian hamster named Kiko. I've had her for about 4 months now. This is she. She's adorable. And on the right is actually the cage that I built for her myself. That kind of leads into my next fun fact. My hobbies include doodling, roller skating, singing, and punch needling. I think you can see there's a distinct lack of cage building, but I really just love crafting and making new things. On this next slide, I have pictures, demonstrative elements. On the bottom right is actually crafts that I made for a Halloween party for adults. I know it doesn't look like that. It felt like I was just in a classroom, and I kind of got away with it. Speaking of being in a classroom, this kind of relates to my first disposition, where I will demonstrate commitment to learning by incorporating creativity in my professional practice. I have some experience doing this from previous classes, like my math for teachers class, and I feel that I really excel in this part of the lesson planning. So, like I said, for my math for teachers class, here are two projects that I did. On the left, here are tessellations, which are geometric shapes that align perfectly with each other in a forever ongoing pattern, and we had to convert it into an animal. And here I made bats, and I hoped that it would really be a good inspiration for my students to be excited about learning about tessellations. And on the right here is it's a project including my hamster Kiko that I wrote into a word problem about multiplication and area to kind of get students involved with a cute little animal and having them get an idea of how they can apply mathematics to the real world. My next disposition is that I will embrace diversity by adapting professional practice to individual differences. I have a background in media production that makes me hyper aware of the different capacities and abilities an audience can have. I know not a lot of people think about teaching in this way, but I always have thought about teaching in a way that is like sending a message. And in media production, that's the main point of videos. I mean, obviously, we want to capture your attention, which we also want to do in the classroom, but there's a message at the end of the day that we're trying to send students. And that's why I've always connected media to learning. Here's actually a picture of me in my audiovisual class back when I was in high school. And back then, we would make videos that were shown to the whole high school that involved students who were different ages, different grade levels, different levels of understanding, with different abilities, and we would have to make a video that kind of catered to all of them. And that's something that I'm a little experienced in, but I'm a little nervous about incorporating in teaching, and I hopefully can learn more about it before I enter the classroom. I wanted to include this photo because this is a classroom, a mock classroom that I made in my Intro to Special Populations class. This is for a kindergarten class, and we had to imagine a classroom with designated students with different abilities and, conditions like ADHD, or maybe they're learning English as their second language, and we had to seat them in this mock classroom and plan out the way that doing this would affect their learning. And it was definitely hard at first, and I really enjoyed this experience. In my final disposition, I will demonstrate professional responsibility by using self-reflection to improve my performance. I am very analytical, and I constantly think about the things that I can improve on in social interactions and in my work already. Some people might call this worrying or anxiety. But something that I use to relieve tension and make my analyzations more meaningful is journaling. And when I start teaching, I'm definitely going to want to integrate this into my practice, and hopefully I can also get students to use it themselves. I really feel that it helps you clear your mind and, rid yourself of those negative thoughts, and you can take away a good lesson from a bad or unpleasant situation. That's the end of my presentation, and thank you for listening.